Hi friends, welcome back. So I was inspired today to work on a muscle group that we could truly spend hours and days and weeks, months and years studying, but it's something that I find is very helpful in my own practice to be very mindful of and to work with. So we're going to work with the psoas today. The psoas is fascinating because there have been so many studies about this muscle showing that it is directly linked with the central nervous system, specifically our stress response, our fight or flight response, and how we respond to stress. They are linked. When we are stressed, the psoas is tight. When the psoas is tight, we are stressed. So there's this very interesting relationship. If you just Google it, you will find so much information. So what we're going to do today is just simply an introduction. It's a little snippet of how we can start to work with the psoas. Now, if you're not quite sure what the psoas is, where it's at, what it does, where is it in my body, the psoas is what connects your trunk with your lower legs, with your limbs. It is essentially two muscles that join. You have the iliopsoas, which attaches the anterior lumbar spine, so think lower back spine, and it weaves through the pelvis and attaches at the top of your femur bone, and it joins with the iliacus, which is it sort of lines the inner rim of your pelvis, and so they join at the top of your femur bone. Now what it does is it does hip flexion, so it takes your leg up, right? Or essentially it pulls the thigh bone forward and in. Now when we're sitting, as we do, especially right now, most of us have been sitting more than normal, but when we're sitting, the psoas is in a passive state. It's not actively doing its job. It's sort of just sitting in that state. And so if we then go to stand and lengthen it, it can be somewhat jarring. But what we do know about the psoas is we must have both tone and pliability. We have to think about the psoas as being both strong and flexible. So that's my goal today, is to work in a yoga practice that is somewhat at a level 1, I would say, but with the intention of going sort of back and forth, toggling between can we engage and can we lengthen? Can we find its strength as it pulls the leg and hip inflection, and can we find its length as the leg goes into extension or the leg goes back behind us? So with that in mind, we're just working on, can we bring more awareness to this muscle or this muscle area, this muscle group? Can we bring more awareness to how we are moving and the relationship between this muscle and perhaps how we respond to stress, how we move through transitions, how we move through stress, and that kind of stuff. So I do recommend having some props nearby. Modify as you need to, start and stop as you need to. And as always, if you enjoy your practice, if you learn something maybe, please share it. Hit share on Facebook, share wherever you can. Subscribe, because I'm going to have more videos posted every week. My goal is to have one new video every week for you guys. I have a lot of ideas. So subscribe, ring that little bell. I do know that little bell works, does notify you. You get an email whenever a new video is uploaded. So if you're not used to checking YouTube for new videos, that little bell will help you know when something new has been uploaded. So without further ado, let's get into our practice. So let's get started. I recommend, again, having a block. I will include a link in the description down below if you don't have any blocks. I'll link to my favorite kind of block. And also a blanket. Any kind of blanket you have, yoga blanket, regular blanket, or a cushion of some kind, something to just pad your knees, because we'll be doing a section where we're kneeling. So if you have tender knees, you might want a blanket. So we're gonna start on our backs. You're gonna lie down and we're gonna find constructive rest. Now, constructive rest is extremely important to begin this kind of work because we're working into the psoas. And before we just dive right in, because the psoas won't necessarily respond well to that, we want to first tell the body, tell the mind, and tell the nervous system that it's time to down-regulate. So we're going to take the feet about as wide as the mat. The toes are angled just slightly in, and your knees are going to rest together. The arms can be by your sides, and you're going to close the eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Slow breath in and out through the nose. Consciously moving your breath downwards so that you can feel the belly expand and contract and move with the breath. And then go ahead and open the eyes. Bring your feet in. Hug your right knee into your chest. Start here. So this is going to be your passive version. And then you're going to walk the left leg to straighten. Now when you straighten your left leg, really reach out through the inseam of that left leg. So feel the inner leg reach further than the outer leg. And the inner leg spins down. So you have a nice, straight, strong, anchored left leg. And then pull that right thigh closer into the belly. Relax the neck and shoulders. Keep hugging the thigh into the belly. So moving from this passive version now to an active version, you're going to keep the thigh pulling into the belly. Left leg reaches long, arms by your sides. And now pull the legs in opposite directions. The right thigh pulls in tighter, left leg reaches away from you. Keep the front ribs down and keep your shoulders relaxed. Grab the leg, take your right arm out to the side, and then you'll take it into a nice easy twist. Shift your hips a little bit to the right, and then take the knee to the left. And then come back to center. Now hug both knees. Keep your left knee hugged in. Put your right foot on the floor. Hug it in. Relax the neck and shoulders, and then walk that right leg to straight. So when you walk the right leg to straight, again, you're reaching through the inseam of the leg. The right inner leg reaches forward away from you, and the inner thigh rotates down. So you have a nice straight, and if you peek down at the leg, you should see the toes angled straight up, and your foot is right in line with your hip. And then pull the left thigh in tighter. Keep the thigh pulling in, belly pulls back, reaching that right leg away from you, arms by your sides. Really hug the left thigh in as tightly as you can. This is engaging the psoas. So you're in deep hip flexion, engaging your psoas. And now grab the leg. You're going to scoot your hips to the left a little bit. The right hand takes the knee over to the right. Come back to center. Hug both knees. Rock a little side to side. Take your legs straight up and then hold here for a moment. Check to see that the feet are right over the hips. If the knees bend a little bit, totally fine. Just keep your knees over your hips. Now, the low ribs draw down and in, cinch the sideways in. So you have your whole core engaged, right? Keeping the spine stabilized. Now, your knees can be bent. If you have the flexibility to straighten the legs, remember you're engaging your quadriceps to straighten the legs. Pause. This is all about just finding stability, engaging the psoas from a place of strength and with intention. So consciously coming into this flexion rather than passively coming into flexion. Because if I were to sit up, that would be more of that passive flexion. Bring the feet to the floor, step them as wide as your mat, drop the knees to the left. Pick the knees up and lower them to the right. Bring the knees up, one more time on each side, knees to the left. Knees up and to the right. Bring the knees up, let's roll to one side. And come onto hands and knees. So here's where you might want to set a blanket underneath your knees just to have it already there and ready for you. Okay, so right underneath your hips. Shoulders right over your wrists. Now, stabilizing the trunk here is extremely important, so I want to walk you through this. With the shoulders over the wrists, the shoulder blades need to pull down the back, and when you do that, you feel like the neck lengthens. But at the same time, can you draw the front ribs in? Keep the low belly drawing in, so that you feel that the whole trunk is stable right where it is. Now stretch your right foot back, curl the toes on the floor. Keep the low belly drawing in. Nothing leans back. We're not going to lean back. You're going to stay forward. Shoulders over wrists. Now lift the right leg up. Bend the knees. Now you have hamstring engagement. Foot is flexed. So the knee should be about in line with the hip. If it's a little lower, no big deal. Just make sure we're not sagging in the lower back. Keep the ribs and belly in. Point your right toes. Do not round your back. Pull the right thigh into the belly. And hold. Now you're holding the pose, but you're not holding your breath. Continue to breathe. Shoulder blades down, ribs in. Keep that right foot pointed and try to pull the thigh in tightly without rounding your spine. And then set the knee down. Step your left foot back. Shoulder blades down the back, rib cage drawing in. Okay, lift your left leg. Do not let the low back sway, okay? Keep the low belly drawing up away from the mat, even if that means lowering the leg a little bit. Keep the foot flexed, bend the knee. Continue to breathe. Now point the left toes and pull the left thigh to the belly. Okay, we're not rounding. We're not going into a cat-cow version here. We're simply in a straight back. Pulling the thigh into the belly. And then set the knee down. Now either walk your knees back or walk your hands forward. Doesn't matter, just as long as you're kind of at a longer stance. And then shift the weight forward. You're going to pick a direction and circle your hips. Think about your thigh bone as stirring in the bowl of the pelvis. And then each hip joint is its own bowl. So the thigh bones are sort of lubricating your hip joints here. Circle in the opposite direction. Good. And then walk the knees back underneath your hips, and you're going to step your right foot forward between your hands and come up into a lunge. Now this lunge is not your typical lunge where you see this leaning forward action, okay? Because I want to focus really on getting some length in the psoas. So I want you to shift back a little bit, and if that means pulling the front foot back, then just walk it back. And then you're going to take the shoulders and line them up over the hips, and your hips on that left side is over the knee. Okay, so you're really straight up and down. And the back of the pelvis draws down, the back of the ribs draw up. So you're really upright, finding a lot of space in the spine. Reach your left arm to the sky. Now keep reaching up so the spine goes up, and then tip to the right. Keep pressing your left knee down and that right hip down. Okay, come on up, hands down, switch sides. Right knee down, left foot forward, and then rise up. Align yourself, shoulders over hips, over knee, over right knee. Back ribs lift off of the waist so you're nice and tall. Reach your right arm to the sky. So you're going up first, and then tip to the left. And then reach up, bring your hands back down. So we're going to go back to the hands and knees where we're pulling the leg into the belly, but we're going to add a downward dog to this. So instead of stretching the leg back and pulling the knee in, we're going to go right into hip flexion with the right leg. So you can keep your toes pointed to begin and pull the right thigh into the belly. Really pull it tightly. Keep the shoulder blades pulling down the back to start, right? Just to keep the upper back engaged here on your hands. Keep pulling the thigh in tightly. Curl your left toes under. And then you're going to press down as you lift your hips. Press the hands forward and away from you so you stretch the side bodies. Now your right thigh, notice my right leg is still hugging into the belly. Pull it in tightly as you press your hips up and back. Now press your right foot up. Keep the knee bent. Roll the hip open. Flex that right foot and press the right foot to the left. Scoop the tailbone underneath you and press evenly into both hands. Roll the hips back down. Pull the knee back into the chest. Bend to the left knee and set it back down. All right, so we'll do that second side. Pull the left thigh into the belly. Shoulder blades down. So really feel like you're really strong here. You want to get a good pressing down into the hands and a nice strong shoulder girdle. Pull the thigh in tightly. Right toes tuck. Press down into the hands. Lift the knee. Press the hands forward, really stretching out the sides. And then reach the leg up, roll the hip open, flex your left foot, and press your left foot to the right side of your mat. Press into both hands. Scoop the tailbone under so you don't go into too deep of a back bend. And then roll the hips down. Lower down to hands and knees, child's pose. Stay on fingertips for this one. Hips pull back. Come up onto hands and knees. Set your hands up so that they're shoulder width, right? They're maybe even slightly wider, depending on how tight your shoulders are, maybe even just a little wider. Press into the palms. Outer arms are going to hug in. Tuck your toes. Keep the ribs contained and then lift the hips. Press your thighs back, but keep your knees soft. Pedal out your feet, one heel down, then the other. Lift both heels, bend the knees, look forward, step or walk, feet to the front of your mat. Bend your knees, let your head hang. Shake your head no, nod it yes, let your neck release. Hands to hips, heart pulls forward, hinge up. Tadasana. Now you're more than welcome to leave your blanket right where it is. We're going to do one round of a sun salutation with a low lunge. If you don't need it, you're welcome to just move it to the side. I'm going to leave mine there. So start in Tadasana with your feet hip width. Shoulders are back and down. Quads engaged, lift the thigh muscles up. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, heart pulls forward. You're welcome to keep your knees bent. But as you exhale, just step your left foot back, set the knee down, uncurl the left toes. Inhale, reach to the sky. Reach, reach, reach up. As you exhale, the hands come down and we step back, downward dog. Nice breath. Finding a steady cadence. Now inhale, lift your left leg to the sky. As you exhale, hug the thigh in tightly. Step your foot forward and back knee down. Uncurl the back toes. Inhale, reach. Exhale, come right back down. Now tuck the back toes to lift the knee and step it forward. Inhale, heart forward, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach to the sky. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, right back up, reach up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale the heart forward. And as you exhale, step your right foot back. Set the knee down, uncurl the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward dog, step it back. Steady out your breath. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, hug the thigh in tightly. Here's that psoas engaging to pull the leg in. Step it forward, back knee down. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, step to the front of your mat. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, rise up, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Now you're going to step out wide on your mat. Let's move this blanket to the side. Grab your block and place it behind your right foot. So it's just behind the shin. Take your feet about hands distance, wingspan, and then take the right leg and spin it up. Back heel needs to pivot away. So your back foot is at a slight angle forward. Now the legs are going to stay straight for Trikonasana. If you're looking down at your right foot, it should be pointed straight ahead. Okay, so see that the toes are straight and that the kneecap is lining up with the toes. So we don't have the knee starting to drift. You're going to engage and try to squeeze the outer right quadriceps up so that you have the outer leg firmly engaged. Arms out. So the pelvis shifts back. Go ahead and reach out with your right hand. As you reach, both side bodies elongate. Both side bodies hug in, reaching, and then place the hand on your block. Now, as you reach forward, and this happens a lot, is the front knee has a tendency of either locking or just fully collapsing. So what I want you to do to avoid that is make sure you have your quads engaged. Your calf muscles are going to press forward against the bone and press into the ball mount of that right big toe. All of that. And keep scooping your outer right hip crease back. Only look up if it feels good in your neck. If it causes strain to look up, I recommend either straight ahead or down. Shoulder blades down the back. Press into your back foot. Reach up with the left hand. Reach up. Parallel your feet. Again, engage your quads, so thigh muscles are lifting, and then fold. Nice, easy forward fold, let the head hang. You can have hands on the floor, you can have hands on blocks, you can hold your legs, whatever variation you wish. Just a nice release for the backs of the legs. Reach the chest forward, hands to hips, and hinge up. The block now goes behind your left foot. And then spin your left leg forward, back heel pivots away. So check the stability of this left leg. Toes are angled forward, quads are engaged, specifically that outer quad lifting up. Okay, you should feel that the kneecap kind of lifts when you do that. The calf muscles are pressing forward and press into the ball mound of the big toe on that left foot. Shift your pelvis back so you feel that left outer hip crease pull back. When you reach out, both side bodies lengthen, so the rib cage is pulling away from the pelvis, but you're also hugging in to stabilize and protect your spine. So as you reach, engage the waist, and then find your block. Choose a placement for the head that feels good in the neck. Most of us, it's going to feel good to just look straight ahead. For some people, looking up works for the neck. It's just more rotation for the cervical spine. Might feel good. If it causes pain, just look down. Now reach up through the right hand. Press into the back foot, rise up. Again, parallel your feet and hinge, fold down. Good. Bring your hands to your hips, heart pulls forward, hinge up to stand. And then heel toe your feet all the way in. We're going to step to the front of our mat. Now, if you recall, when we were lying on our backs, right, and I had you hug one knee in, the first version we started with was the passive version, right, where we hugged the leg using our arms, and the second was active. We're going to do the same thing this time standing, which adds a balance component. So if your balance is very off today, just simply use a wall lightly. Put fingertips on a wall or, on a cabinet, if that helps, so that you don't topple. Eventually working up to the ability to stand on one leg while engaging the psoas will help make your psoas more efficient in its movement, right? Because when we are walking, when we are hiking, when we are stepping upstairs, we need to be able to stand on one leg and move with this efficiency. But that's not where you are today, just use a prop. Standing on your left leg, we're going to grab our right knee and hug it in. So it's very easy here to rest in the joints, right? I can very easily kind of lean and buckle the leg and hang in the shoulders. We're going to avoid that, and we're going to press the standing left thigh straight back. Don't lock the knee. Engage the thigh muscles and just send the thigh bone back. Then lift the back ribs up off of the waist so you're standing really tall, and keep the ribs contained. Shoulders down. Low belly draws back. Either take your arms straight down, or if you're feeling strong and you want to test your balance, reach up. And then set it down. So we're just going to build in increments. Now standing on your right leg, grab your left leg. The right thigh bone presses back. You have quads engaged, back ribs are lifting, and the front ribs are drawing in, so you have abdominals engaged. Okay, either arms down, keep pulling the thigh in tightly, or reach up. and then set it down. Okay. Now we're gonna add on to this. And we're gonna add so we're going from flexion, we're gonna move into extension by adding a crescent pose to this. And we'll keep this sort of continuous so that there is this play in the psoas and in the muscles as we step forward and back so the brain can start to put these pieces together. Okay, let's stand first on our right leg and pull the left knee in. Keep the belly back, keep the ribs contained. Now let go of that left leg and reach up if you can. If not, you can put hands on hips. Reaching up. Bend the right knee, and you're going to kind of tip forward so you can step your left foot back and come into a high lunge. Now your high lunge, your back leg can be bent, and for most of us that will be most beneficial. Just keep the back knee bent. But if you have the flexibility without compromising in the lower back and pelvis, start to lengthen the inseam of that back leg back. Yeah, so keep pressing through the back heel as you reach up. So there's your length, there's the extension of that left hip. Press into your front foot, step forward and pull the knee to the chest. Bend the right knee and step it back, come back to crescent. Step forward, pull the knee to the chest. Wee. Step back, crescent. One more time, step it forward. Pull the thigh in tightly, and then step it back, crescent. Take your arms straight out forward in front of you, and then peel your right hand back. Open twist. Come forward, hands to prayer. Step it forward. All right, second side. Stand on your left leg. Pull the right knee in. So get really strong and really tall. Lift the spine tall. Pull the thigh in. Okay, bend your left knee. You have to tip forward a little bit to step the right foot back and find your first crescent pose. So if you're going towards straight leg, it's only by lengthening the inseam back. It's not by pressing the knee joint up. Okay, keep the tailbone pointing down. Press into your front foot, step forward and pull the knee to the chest. Bend the left knee, step it back, crescent. Pull the knee in, step it forward. It's okay if you wobble, let the wobbles happen. And then step it back. Last one, pull the knee in, strong, strong, strong. And step it back, crescent. Arms come out in front of you. Open twist, left arm back. Come forward, reach up. Hands come to prayer. Step it forward. Arms by your sides, Tadasana. Breathe. Feel the strength and the stability in your legs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, pull the heart forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to step back and find a plank pose. So really pull the shoulder blades down the back. Okay, knit the front ribs in and keep the legs really strong. Shoulders back, heart forward, shift forward, lower down. Press your feet down, press your pelvis down, elbows in, and lift up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower. This time adding our legs. Elbows hugging in, shoulders down, lift the heart, lift the legs. Really keep the legs straight if you can. Point through the toes and reach the big toes back. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes, press up to knees, and press back, downward dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, pull the knee to the forehead. If you can, push down, round the spine, and pull the knee tighter into you. Inhale the leg up. Exhale the foot down. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, pull the knee in tightly. Push down. We want really strong psoas to pull this knee in tightly, yeah? Round the spine. Inhale the leg up. And exhale the foot down. Now lower down to your knees. Swing the feet to the side. You're going to come to a seat. Legs are straight out in front of you. You can do this on a blanket. So if the legs are really tight, the hamstrings are really tight, you're more than welcome to sit up on a blanket. So our fingertips are going to press down. And that's just going to help us keep the heart lifted and open. Flex the right foot. Keep the back of the heel pressing down. And now point the right foot. As you point the foot, the whole front of that right leg lengthens. Engage in your right quads now. So now we have psoas working with quadriceps. Lift the right leg. Even if it's barely off the floor, can you engage to lift? And then set it down, flex the foot. Left foot flexed. Heel is pressing down. Go ahead and point the toes. Engage your left quadriceps now. So we have strong engagement of hip flexors. Lift the leg. And lower. Flex. Rock it side to side. Scoot forward. Grab your block. Walk the feet in. Shoulders underneath you. I recommend for tighter hips, tighter hip flexors, if you have any low back stuff going on, either keep it on the lowest height or just skip the block altogether. Tuck the shoulders underneath you, lift the pelvis, and slip the block underneath the pelvis. So first just feel that the pelvis is being supported and lifted by that block. And that's going to create a nice space in the belly, space down the front of the legs and the front of the hip joint. And then reach down and hug your right knee in. If you can't quite get around to grabbing the shin, you can grab the hamstring. And then the left leg is going to straighten. As the leg straightens, press out through the inseam of the leg and let the left thigh bone get heavier. Press the left thigh bone down. Slow down the breath. Big belly breath first. And then walk the left foot back in. And we'll switch sides. Right foot down. Hug your left leg in. Walk the right leg out. As you walk the leg out, it's the inner leg, right? It's the inseam of the leg that reaches. So the inner thigh rolls down slightly. And that'll help keep the leg straight out of the hip. Good. Pull the foot back in, set both feet down. Either stay here and breathe into the belly or walk both legs out. So this is your reverse, your opening after a long day of sitting or longer periods of sitting. This is going to help to open up everything. Breathe deeply into the belly. My belly is already rumbling. That's definitely a sign that the parasympathetic nervous system has activated and the body can start to go into its rest and digest state. That's where we want to be, where our body can start to rest and repair itself, repairing cells, digesting our food. And then pull the feet in, press down so that you can lift up. Block is just going to go off to the side. Step your feet as wide as your mat. Let the knees rock left and then to the right. Windshield wiper them from side to side. Bring your knees up, soles of the feet together, knees out. Now you're welcome to put something underneath your legs. Specifically the inner legs, the inner hips are really tight, put blocks or pillows or something underneath your legs. And then place your right hand on your heart, left hand on your belly. Close the eyes. Breathe deeply into your lower belly. Can you feel the whole system start to let go? So that when our psoas is toned, it's pliable and flexible and it works efficiently, we're able to move more effortlessly with ease through our day and through times of stress or change or transition, rather than getting bound up, rather than getting stuck in the stress, stuck in the chaos. We're able to take one step forward at a time. Take the hands to the outer knees and just gently help the legs come together. Reach your right arm back, roll over onto your right hand side, pause, keep the eyes closed. Press down, let's rise up to sit. Join your palms together in front of your heart. Sealing in this work and honoring this journey, we keep our hearts lifted and open. Our hands join in Anjali Mudra. And bow your chin down towards the lift of your heart. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with me. Until next time, namaste.